Okay, we are back. Found the fence. This is not a great fence. I don't have a lot of confidence in this fence, but I think it might be just good enough for what we're doing. And we're just kind of going straight down the middle of this thing. And so I'm going to go ahead and line it up. Try to get as close to the middle as I can. Woo! And that looks okay from this side. Looks pretty okay from that side. Again. Yeah, looks alright, I guess. Let's tighten it down gently so I don't lose my spot. Oh, I'm losing my spot already. Backed out probably too much. Again, it's not very good. But maybe, just maybe, it'll be good enough. I don't have to do much. That looks alright. That looks alright. Okay. Now we need to lower our we'll do it here a bit. Let's see. How's that looking? If it's too high, then it's not going to work well. And that looks alright. That looks like maybe half a centimeter or so. That's probably okay. And we're going to go just to our line here. So I'm thinking, let's just go ahead and mark with the pencil. Where'd my pencil go? It's just here. Pencil's completely gone. Lost forever. Well, maybe that's alright. Put it in the box? No. Huh. Darn it. My pocket? No. Pencil's gone. How about that? Alright, here's what we'll do. This is my fingernail. We'll run a little line. There we go. Close enough. And when we get to that line, we'll stop, have a look. Alright. Let's plug this thing in. Make sure it's turned off. That's the off direction. And here we go. Apparently, I failed to lock down the router, so Ryan came in and fixed that for me. Alright, so here's what we got. Looking alright. Our hole's not the most beautiful hole in the world, but it's alright. It's routed well. Go straight up and down. That's definitely enough space for a wire. We're going to have it covered with the carpet tiling. Oh wait, can you see even what I'm talking about? Here we go. Right, so it's not bad. It's plenty of space. It's probably too much space, but that carpet tiling is rather thick, so it'll cover it really nicely, and you won't even know that's there. It gives us plenty of room to work with. And the hole goes in. It's not the most beautiful work of art, but it should work just fine. So now what we need to do, we need to basically do the same thing on the bottom of this, and we're also going to need to drill a hole. And so we will just quickly line this up, see where our hole is going to be, and go ahead and tap that as well. Alright, let's go ahead and drill that in. The same bit before. And, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but I'm going to just drill this real quick. Alright, it's done. Alright, there's our hole for our power cable, as you can see there. And now on the opposite side, where we had a little bit of tear out, but that's not going to matter, we're going to run the wire, I think, this long ways. And so what we need to do is just line up our fence again, appropriate distance. And I think what we'll do is use the hole that we just drilled to help us out. Try to find the top of our router through the hole. There it is. Excellent. And then line up our fence. That looks all right. I bet it works fine. Tighten it down. We got it pretty straight. Yeah, it's pretty straight. Go a little bit straighter. All right. Nice and tight. Oh, it's pretty crappy, it's true. It's not a great fence, but it's probably just good enough. Alright, and actually I'm kind of wanting to go this way now. I don't know if I should pull it towards me, but we're going to try it out and see if it works. Alright. That's a mighty big problem. Of course, our route was going just fine here at the beginning, and what happened? You notice how it kind of went sideways. What happened was our router is no longer securely attached. Here we go. Second try. Newly tightened router. Boards straightened back up. Should be okay.
The fence is lined up. Almost pretty.
All right, so yes, aside from our initial mistake here, yeah, there it is. Aside from this little essential initial mistake where the router went crooked on us. And the rest of it lined up really well. The hole there, it is a pretty hole. It's
Lined up, straight up.
Can you see it? Yes, the hole in the router groove, it looks almost perfect. It's slightly to the right, but that's okay. So there's our base, and here is our main support column there, and that lines up all right, and our motor fits in okay. Now what we got to do is give ourselves a little motor mount on. Where's that other piece of wood? There it is, on the floor. All right, so now we just got to find a bit that's going to give us a hole that's going to be all right for this. Right, get this thing mounted on there, and we don't want to go down any more than, say, the bottom of our little what is this? It's a gear of some sort. So let's measure that real quick. We're looking at a 9.4, so 9.5 or so would be great. But if we only got a 9 or a 10, I'll accept either one of those. So let's see what we've got. Definitely got some 9s. We got some 10s. Since it's more than 9, a 10 would probably be best. This is a 10. Let's see if we can find a 9.5, because there might be one in here somewhere. It looks like that's maybe a 9.
I've got 9.5.
You got 9.5?
This is 9.5.
That'll work. Thank you.
Do you want the other chuck?
No.
That's the only one we have 9.5, I think.
Fine. All right.
You have to drill down with this one. Where's the chuck, dude? Where's the...
Over here.
Alright,
All right. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way, because we're done with this.
Alright, I'm gonna let you to it. I'm gonna grab the...
Yep. Well. Alrighty. Down and out of the way for a second. Back up with our vise. Light. Alright. Now, we could do this on the drill press and it'd be a whole lot easier to figure out how deep we're going. However, if we go a little too deep, well, I don't want to go too deep. Let's do this on the drill press. I think that's going to be better overall. Alright. Let me move the camera a little bit. Hopefully, not going to be a problem for me. We got a lot of stuff over here, but I think I can get it out of the way quickly enough. And I can even zoom in a little bit. There we go. That's looking all right. Whenever we have works in progress, things get a little bit messy, but looks like we're okay. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, nearly got the hiccups, but luckily I can stop hiccups usually if I catch them on the first one or two. There we go. Spin, just make sure that it looks like it's in there straight, not crooked. Looks alright to me. There we go. See if I can't move this forward a little bit. I don't have it in there too tight, to be honest, so I might just be able to tap-a-roo and grab my hammer again or something. A little hammering is easier than loosening and tightening bolts again. It's not that tight. It's just enough to get the job done. Now we're looking. Well, that's pretty damn close, so maybe we went just a little bit too far. It's looking alright. Yeah. Close enough for what we're doing anyway. And I think I can go maybe just a little bit over with my block. And how's this looking on being level? Is that alright? That's pretty good. All the way around. Close enough. Alright, here we go. Oh, not turned on. Plugged in? Looking plugged in. Which one are we? There we go. Alright, so we want to go. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Now, if we look here, we want to go. So I added a little switch here to my my cheap digital caliper. This digital caliper I bought at a shop. I think it was probably Conan Home Center. And it was about 1,700 yen, which is about $17. I think you can probably get them cheaper if you get them online. But problem was, it ran the battery down all the time. Like, I could use it for about 3 months and the battery would be dead. And I didn't even use it that much for 3 months. So it tends to just run power all the time, right? So I put a little switch on there so to actually physically disconnect the battery. And now these batteries last for years. So this is a nice little hack that if you have one of these digital calipers that's cheap ones, from what I understand, the more expensive ones, they don't do that. But then you're also paying a whole lot of money when you could just be buying like a little 5-10 cent switch and have the same results. So I recommend that. And we were looking at maybe 7 millimeters, I think, is probably a good depth. So let's look and see what's going to happen. We can get 7. So when we pull down to the top, we're looking at, looks like about 0.8 on here. So we're going to go down to 1.5, and that'll give us our 7, and we'll test it out. That might be it. Alright. It looks like it's probably not quite deep enough, to be honest. But I have to trust. I have to trust in my measurements. Let's try it out. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Although we could go just a little bit deeper. Can you see what we're looking at there? Maybe it's a little bit hard to see, but we're hanging out just a little bit. This bottom part. I would kind of like this bottom part to be just up in there a little bit more. So I'm going to go 1.6 just to be sure, and then I think we're going to be all right. Now, a quick and easy way to reline something up. Put it into your, drop your drill bit into the hole that you just drilled. Try it again. It could go over just a little bit, but pretty close. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Alright. I'm gonna call that done. And oh, that's perfect. It's perfect. of see what we're dealing with here. Can you see the tolerances we're working with there? Oh yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? Can you see it all right? Is it in focus? It's hard to tell for me if it's in focus or not, since it's zoomed. But yeah, fits right down in there like a glove. All right. There we go. So now we have to think about the holes for the toys that we're going to drill into the sides. Now, right, the holes for the toys in the sides. Are we going to do it in the middle? Because really, we do have a lot of space up here. There's nothing else up here. We can do it the side, or we can do it the other side, or we can do it in the middle. I suppose the middle would be fine, right? I was thinking, for some reason, it might want to put it on the side, but really, the middle could be also okay. And we could even angle it a little bit. Might be good. So I guess what we need to do now is find a cat toy and measure it. So let me grab a cat toy real quick, and we'll measure it and see what we need to do. I'll be right back. Okay, so currently this is the only cat toy I've been able to find. Let me zoom back out here a little bit. There we go. So this is the only cat toy I've been able to find for the moment. It'll be okay. We have more at home, and we can always buy some at the store. But just for getting things going, I think this will be okay. And as I was just discussing, maybe if we put it slightly at an angle, it might be all right. Because then ones that have like a longer toy would be still just fine. And if it's also a little bit bigger, if it gets pulled out, maybe that's okay as a safety feature. So what we can do, we can drill several different holes just as different options, right? And so we can drill one that's maybe angled up, one that's maybe angled out straight, and things such as that. I think that might be a good idea. We'll do, and then since this particular toy is actually much smaller than the typical ones, but it's similar. Again, I really don't know where all the cat toys have gone. We've had some here in the makerspace, but I'll do a little bit bigger than this, and just to be safe. And I can always just re-drill holes in this little block. That wouldn't be a problem, especially after there's a pilot hole. It'd be real easy. So we'll do one that's angled and one that's straight. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. First, figure out a rough estimate. As I said, we're going to go wider than this, but just so we know what we're dealing with. This is already 6 millimeters. So if we went for, say, 8, maybe 8's too much. Maybe, let's see. There's a 6. Yeah, that feels like it's not quite enough. 6.5. Is that kind of what the cat toy feels like? No, it's thicker than that as well. I'm thinking that's probably too thick, right? The 9. Maybe a 7. Yeah, the 7 seems like it's probably close. It's pretty close. 7.5. 7.5 right here. Where did my 7.5s go? There's a 7.5. It's a little bit chewed up though. I don't know what we were drilling on that with, but wow, that was a hard job. Might be alright for wood. 7. Wow, we got a lot of really screwed up bits here. I'm drilling on some hard stuff, and hasn't been handling it well. It happens. Alright, let's try for a 7 for now. Let's see how it goes. mid's probably fine. It doesn't have to be the side of it. I think I was thinking just to kind of keep them from interfering with each other, the side might be good. So still, I'm a little bit tempted to go for the side, but I could also just go for different heights. This one will be straight. Looks alright. Now, what depth are we thinking about here? Depth of the whole thing, this whole handle here is basically the whole depth of the piece of wood. I don't want to drill all the way through. So I guess we're going to look about maybe 3/4 of the way. That's looking at maybe 30. So 3 centimeters probably be alright. We're looking at about 4, so 3.4. Alright, let's do it. Alright. How's that? That's not too bad. It's really in there, although it really tends to want to just fall right out, doesn't it? Maybe what we could do is maybe wrap a rubber band. Oh, you can't see what I'm talking about here. Okay, there we go. So if you look here, right, it's quite loose. It kind of just falls right out. That's great for safety, but maybe the toy is a little bit too wobbly. It's just gonna, as soon as it spins around a few times, it's gonna work its way out, right? So maybe if we just wrap a rubber band around the end before we put it in, that would give it a little bit of a grip. It wouldn't just rock out. So that would probably be alright. And then we'll go diagonal ways on this one, and I think that'll also help us not have trouble here. So if we're looking at something, maybe I don't want to interfere with our bottom, right? So maybe something about like that, I guess. So how deep is that going to be? That gets us looking at about a depth of, again, it's about 3. So we just have to line up our angle properly. It should be alright. That's looking pretty good, in my opinion. Now I want it over a bit because I don't want it to interfere. Is that going to be high enough of an angle? I think it is. I think it is. And we're going to go for about 3. Again, nothing has to be perfect. I'm just going to go straight down to 3. It's not real sure what we're dealing with here. I'm just eyeballing it. Alright, that has a pretty good angle on it. And it didn't come out to the bottom. So we have a nice angle there. And we have a flat, straight hole there. And we put in our cat toy in our angled section here. Right? That's not too bad. That looks okay. And it certainly, well, it's not so less prone to falling out, is it? But it certainly has a bit of an angle on there, so that might be good. If your string is a little bit long, then you won't have to maybe tie it up. You could just put it in the angled section. But here we have straight, here we have angled, and it'll fit on the end of that thing. I think that is a nice little attachment piece there, a little adapter for our toy. So now I believe all we have to do really is go inside and start wiring up our motor, gluing or attaching however we can things together, and we'll also wire up our second sensor, even though we don't have it programmed yet, and we would just not, well, either we just give it a quick programming. I've already got a couple ideas on different ways that we can program that. I think I don't want them to interfere with each other, so I'll probably activate one and then give it a little wait and then activate the other, but it's going to be happening so fast, it's going to be happening multiple times a second anyway. So I think that way we're not interfering with them and getting false positives. So okay, let's go back inside.